This is the inversion table that I ordered off of Amazon. We're going to be setting it up, and hopefully it is as easy as people have said it is. So here we go. Okay, see how it's packed in here. Very streamlined. Alright. Okay, these are the pieces that make up the inversion table. Came pretty well packed. Seems like the color is a little bit different than what was on the website, but I like it, so that's cool. First thing that I notice is that none of the instructions have writing other than diagrams, and it looks like a lot of bolts. There is no actual text that guides you along the process. So it's simply matching the bolts with the diagram. It's just making me kind of uneasy, but we will see what happens. Alright, looking at this box, I notice that there are some screws that are not in the bag, which makes me a little uneasy, but I'm confident that I will be able to figure this out. So in the instruction manual, they list out what the certain pieces are. It's important to read what these pieces are so you're able to know when you're putting it together, since everything is in diagram form. The pieces that I'm getting ready to assemble now is the support tube, left and right, the curved ones right there. Step 1.1 is asking you to put the feet on there, and it is mentioning that you should use a screw 8. On the adjacent page we see what the screw 8 looks like. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in this pile of screws right over here. It looks like I have located screw 8, little teeny screw to screw in the feet on the curved bar that's going to be the base. Looks like that. Okay, screwed that in. It wasn't too hard to puncture it. Base is in. Looks like that. Okay, the next leg. Okay, I'm a little concerned because it seems like there's a lot of steps here. You can see that I thought that after that first page I'd be done, but I basically have 3 pages worth of instructions, so a little discouraged. We have organized the screws into nice neat stacks, which is going to be very helpful, something I highly recommend. Okay, so step 1 of 1 is done. Now we're moving on to 1 of 2, which looks like they want you to hook up the, let me get the proper terminology here. They want you to hook up the support base left and right to the support tube, which are the curved beams. So that is what we're going to do now. When I first went to go set this up, I used this tube going that way, and I realized that that piece would not work like that. So I realized that it was the wrong tube for this side. So this curved design kind of helps you set that up. Even though it looks like it would go the right way, it's not going to fit properly there. But if you get the right tube on, it should go flush against the base like that. So that way you kind of know that's the right tube. So also make sure that the bolt goes that way as opposed to that way. So the top one is correct. Houston, we have a problem. Well, we have been working on getting this base piece together, but as you can see, that nut doesn't have a lot of room for the bolt and the washer. So it seems like that even with someone helping and holding this flush, it's not enough room for me to put both the washer and the nut. So we're going to try to figure this out. Looks like we figured out what the problem is. There are two screws that are kind of similar in length, but not really. I'm going to go check the manual and see if that is the case. We've just learned that there are two screws that are a little bit shorter than the rest. I wish they were color coded, but you can see that they're a little bit shorter. So the long one is number 2 and the shorter ones are the number 1 screw. So that's something you may want to work out before you get too far into building this thing. Alright, after much confusion on which bolt it is, we got a 2 pair of pliers and started to work the bolt onto the screw, and finally we're making some progress. But I think it's amazing that you have to go to that length to get this to fit. We have decided to not use the nut on this back foot because it does not fit, even though we are sure that it is the right nut. It seems pretty secure without it. Okay, we're on step 1-3 now, and we're going to be moving the bottom support beam, the short support, into place. You can see it went into place real easy. There's markings on it that allow you to show which way is up and which way is down. Looks like it takes the normal bolts, so it shouldn't be too hard to get together. But there are bolts, 4 bolts needed for each support beam. So in order to get this top screw in, had to twist it. It looked like I was going to have to get the mallet out in order to get that to fit, but a little bit of twisting got it in. Tightening, this is how I'm tightening up these nuts. I've kind of rigged the system to where I have an easier way to use their tool and to tighten the actual nut. Highly recommend you using these tools. It's really hard to tighten up the nuts with the tools that they provided you. Okay, we are using screws 4 to get this into these, to lock the 2 pieces together. We're going to use the little homemade tool that they gave you to screw this in, even though this homemade tool is kind of crappy. Okay, so now we're on 1-5, and we've secured the base, and now we're going to try to secure this middle piece here. So here we go. 1-5. Okay, I have reassembled the legs now, and again you want to make sure that those threads are facing down and away as opposed to out and away. That would be the way that you're able to tell if it is properly set up to connect to this middle piece here.